Printer can print up to 10 lines per second.
Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful.
This printer can print up to 10 lines per second. This printer can print up to 10 lines per second.
Okay, welcome to Lesson 8. I'm calling this getElement, and you will see why in a second. So if you could copy this Atom file and save it as getElement.html, and then we can get started. Okay, good. I probably should have mentioned that this headlines array, you can see I put each sentence on a different line. That was just to make it look a little cleaner. These sentences are going to be the headline of our website, but you can put any language you want in there. If you want to pause this and change that, that's fine. So what we're going to be doing now is, this is the first lesson where we're going to be using JavaScript to actually manipulate the HTML. And that's really why JavaScript was originally invented, was to make the HTML more dynamic and more interesting. Okay, so we are going to use that capability right now. So we have a couple HTML tags. One has an ID called headline, and we are very soon going to be using that ID. The paragraph tag does not have an ID. And then we have in the script an array of sentences. Okay, so we are going to grab that headline. We're going to grab that H1 with the ID headline in our JavaScript so that we can change it. So we'll say constant, or const headline equals getElement by ID. And what is the ID that we gave it? Headline. It's the same. Okay, so now we got that. So what we did is we grabbed that. I'm sorry, I need to put document in front of getElement by document. And of course you have to spell that correctly. And as you can see, I do make mistakes. Document getElement by headline. Okay, so now we grabbed that element and now we're storing it in a JavaScript variable called headline. Okay, so right now, let's save that and let's look at the web page. Here it is. So headline goes here because that was what was originally in our H1 tag. So let's change that. We have a variable called headline. Let's say headline dot inner text, capital T, equals testing headline. Save that and open it. There we go. So we replaced the placeholder text that was in there, okay? So let's make this a little more interesting. There's a reason we created this array of headlines. I have 4 in there. You can put more sentences if you want. What we're going to do is pick a random headline, and we're going to store that in our headline.innerText. Okay, so you remember math random. So let's say let headline index equal math.random. Okay, I'm going to test that. By the way, I'm going to go down here and get rid of this for now. So I'm going to test the headline index. I want to see what that is. So console log. Headline index. We need the console. So view developer, JavaScript console, and there's a number. And you can see it's pretty long decimal number, 0.19. Let's run that again. 0.997 and more, 0.526 and more. Okay, so you get it. So math random is generating a number between 0 and 1, but we need a number between 0 and the number of elements in our headline. So what we do is we multiply math random times headlines length. And in this case, it'll be 4. It'll multiply math random times 4. So let's see what that looks like. Not a number. Why? Oh, forgot the S in here. Headlines length. There we go. 3.19, 0.67, 2.59. Okay, so we're getting a number between 0 and 4, but we need an integer. We don't need a decimal number or a floating point. So we need to use something called math floor, math.floor, and I'm going to need to expand this a little bit. I'm going to put this entire output in math floor. In other words, take math random times headlines length and put that inside the parentheses of math.floor. So all floor does is it cuts off all the numbers after the decimal. So let's test that. Save that. There we go. 0, 3, 3, 2, 1, it's 0. So it's giving us 0, 1, 2, and 3, which are the indexes we need for our array. Remember? Because the first item is indexed at 0, the second is index 1, the third is index 2, and the fourth is index 3, because arrays start at index 0. You'll get used to that. I know it's weird. Okay, so now we got the right headline index. So what we'll do now, let's get rid of some empty space here. We'll say headline inner text equals headlines, square bracket, headline index. Okay, so we're grabbing that array and we're giving it an index, which is random. The index is random, which will choose one of our sentences in the array, the headlines array. And that will insert that into the text of our headline element up here, our H1 element. Okay, let's test that. Save it. Run the site. Welcome to my site. Why are you here? Isn't this cool? Welcome to my site. Jim's website. It's random, so sometimes you'll get there you go. I got welcome to my site twice in a row. Sometimes you get it twice in a row, but if you had like 50 headlines in there, the chances of getting 2 in a row are much slimmer. Okay, so this is important lesson because this is the first time we use JavaScript to manipulate the HTML. We grabbed an H1 and we inserted text all with JavaScript. Okay, very important. Also, I wanted to say regarding Lesson 7 review, if that was a little bit difficult for you, I totally understand. It was pretty challenging, but don't worry about it. Just plug on and skip it and don't stress about it. And just keep doing the lessons, and they will get progressively more challenging, but that's the whole point, right? So you can always go back to Lesson 7 review later, because after several more lessons, it'll be easier to understand. So I hope you enjoyed this Lesson 8, and I'll see you next time.